Hey everyone, so in today's video we're going to be looking at what are, in my opinion, the 3 best locations in any season of Fortnite. Now, we will definitely disagree on these. These are just my opinion. I'm not taking into consideration things like the popularity of the location, but that'll definitely be sort of a factor that influences my opinion, no doubt. Now, if you do enjoy, please consider leaving a like and subscribing and checking out my latest Fortnite videos. It would mean a lot to me. So let's go straight into the video. So coming in at number 3, I have fencing fields. Now the reason I have fencing fields here, there's a couple reasons. I've played chapter 5 probably the most out of any chapter, at least so far. Obviously the chapter isn't done yet, but I played chapter 5 season 1 quite a lot, and I've been playing season 2 a lot too. And I've been really enjoying fencing fields, especially in season 1. Now, what made it qualify for top 3 for me? Well, there's a few reasons. One is the boss fight. It's a very popular location to land, or at least it used to be, because of the boss fight. You'd beat the boss fight, you'd get a really good gun, so it was always just very popular. And that leads into my second reason as well. It was just fun landing there because there was always fights going on. Even if you didn't land there and you just sort of made your way over, there was always fights going on, and I found that just very fun. It reminded me sort of Tilted Towers, not in structure or how it looked, but just because everyone was landing there was always fights going on. You were pretty likely to die there. Like, it just sort of reminded me of old Fortnite in a weird way. I'm not too sure if anyone else sort of felt that, probably not, but I just found this location to be the most unique on the map, not necessarily because of how it looked. In some ways, because of how it looked, because it was a little bit distinct, but I would argue the Chapter 5 map doesn't really have, at least in Season 2, I would say it probably does, but in Season 1, it didn't really have many locations that were just very stand out. Like, they were all pretty similar, like they all felt like they belonged where they were, but I feel like fencing fields sort of stood out to me because of how packed it was, like how crazy it was all the time. And I just really like where it was on the map. Like, it was always sort of in the middle, so it's like everyone would converge on that one spot. So I found it pretty cool. It was just a fun location and hard to explain, but definitely one of my favorites. Alright, so now at my number 2 spot, I had the Agency from Chapter 2 Season 2. Now, Chapter 2 Season 2 is highly regarded as one of, if not the best seasons to come out of Fortnite, just overall. And I do actually agree. If you haven't, please check out my most recent video on the best seasons of Fortnite. This location, the Agency, was one of my favorites. And it's for a similar reason as every other entry on this video. And it's that it was always a very fun place to land, but this one had more story relevance. I do like to discuss the story when I'm talking about Fortnite. Stories become more sort of relevant in the more recent chapters, and I think that the story here was pretty entertaining. You're never going to expect like a full-on narrative from Fortnite, but I think for what they could offer us, they did a pretty good job. I like how story was sort of intertwined with the gameplay, and this Agency, this location, was a perfect example. It told a story itself. It was always a very, again, similar to fencing fields, a very popular location to land. There was always people there. Like, there was always a 50% chance of you dying within the first 5 minutes if you landed there. Like, it was always a very just intense place to land. And not that it matters too much in the context of this video, but I feel like the characters in the battle pass just sort of matched with the location. Like, it all felt pretty believable. It might not be the right word because it's Fortnite, but it just felt like everything worked really well this season, and I can definitely understand why it's the most popular season, or one of the most popular seasons. But it's probably one of my favorites because we were all, not everyone, but a lot of people were in like lockdown due to COVID at the time, so there was a lot of people playing, a lot of people landing at the Agency, and I think it was the perfect chapter to give people while they were inside. And that's why I would say this chapter, or this location as a whole I should say, made it to my number 2 spot. So in the number 1 spot, I've put a pretty obvious one, and that's Tilted Towers. I doubt I really need to explain this, even though I did say I've played Chapter 5 probably the most, even though it's the shortest one so far. Chapter 1 had a lot of really good locations, and I was going to do honorable mentions, but almost all of them would have been from Chapter 1, and I do plan to do a video later on on the best location from every single season of Fortnite. That video is going to be a bitch to make. Anyways, that video will be coming relatively soon, but for this video, I thought I had to at least include one from Chapter 1, and it has to be Tilted Towers. Again, popularity did sort of play a part here, but I will say, even though I played the later sort of chapters of the later seasons of Chapter 1, Tilted Towers was always a really fun location. Even though you'd always die when you landed there, it was always just very fun landing there, getting some good guns, fighting people, and the whole vibe of the place was just different from the rest of the map, and I think that's why it stood out to me. It was always a really cool feeling when you were running across the map and then you could start seeing the sort of taller buildings in Tilted Towers. Again, made it very different from the rest of the map that was mainly just grass and small buildings. Ultimately, the reason I put it in number 1 is nostalgia, and also because I feel like it was just a very different part of the map and it helped the map be more unique, and I think that was definitely needed after the first season. So there we go, everyone. Those are my 3 favourite locations in all of Fortnite. Now, these are all subject to change. Tomorrow I'll probably remember some locations that I actually think are better. So if you strongly disagree with some of these, please don't get too mad about it. It is just my opinion, and again, I'll probably have different opinions on it tomorrow. Again, I will be making a video in the future on the best location from every season. So if that sounds interesting to you, please consider subscribing and leaving a like if you enjoyed the video and you want to see more upcoming Fortnite videos. Thank you all for being here, and I hope you have a great day.